credit says I get it. Big.
System Shock hit my radar shortly after playing this masterpiece that is Deus Ex. I was craving more classic immersive sims, and System Shock immediately caught me due to a genre and setting I could easily see myself adoring even more than Deus Ex's cold, conspiracy-filled world. It's a grim space station, cybernetics, a rogue AI that treats you like a pesky virus in their domain, interconnected halls and levels of the station, and Blade Runner influences oozing through the steams. It's gorgeous every step of the way. The new intro sequence apartment just screams Deckard with the square tiling in the kitchen. I love it. So now, let's talk about the actual game. As said, you now start in your apartment as opposed to the older demos placing you straight onto Citadel Station. The apartment actually has a lot of fun interactables to entertain you with.
Our flagship Citadel Station.
Most noticeable is the radio in the corner playing a broadcast, doing some great world building as we get our bearings. Once ready, we hop on our computer to steal some kind of high-level implant from Trioptium, in which we're caught onto and arrested.
Turn around! Now!
This nets us a first-class flight onto Citadel Station. Here we encounter Edward Diego, a man who wishes to use our hacking talents to disable Shodan's ethical constraints and grant him supreme power over the station. In return, he claims we'll get our implant, procedure, and all. We do just that, get injected with some sleepy serum, and come to our senses 7 months later. Here we can grab a melee weapon, some cybernetics to fill out our HUD, and the space station is then ours to uncover. The game sets you up with super minimal information. We know something is going very wrong in the station. A biological outbreak turning unlucky crew into zombified mutants, and the even unluckier lot who serve as vessels for extreme body augmentations with the sole purpose to serve Shodan. If you die before discovering the regen station, we can see this process unfold. A robot solemnly grabs our corpse after death and reanimates us into its system. As a cyborg, you shall serve Shodan well. It's some amazing and unsettling world development. A core and very important to me aspect of the cyberpunk genre is psychological horror, and System Shock delivers this very well. Nowhere on this level of the station do we find another living human. The only time we hear people talk is through audio logs obtained from corpses, or the mysterious transmissions from Rebecca Lansing, who we don't physically see. Rebecca gives us hints for progression, people to look for, but it's all futile. All we'll discover is empty offices and more bodies. We'll sneak through ventilation shafts, seeing curled crew members terrified in their last moments, hiding from the techno onslaught of Shodan. We don't know why, but we know the situation is dire, and we are stranded in the orbit of Saturn alone. With this excellent setting trapping us in, let's touch on the moment-to-moment gameplay. There's a surprising number of ways to engage your foes. First option available is going to be a makeshift pipe. The melee combat is decent, not super in-depth, you just kind of swing and hope it's close enough to connect, and it's going to be your weakest option for pretty much every encounter, but it's always going to be the most efficient because they don't break or consume any ammo. Your hits do feel heavy and meaningful though, you get some nice chunky feedback when hits do connect. But a much more preferable method of combat, it's going to be your ranged options. This game takes an amazing approach to equip you properly. There's no one way to uncover the station, so there's usually no one way to get a weapon. You'll find duplicates of weapons like the pistols found throughout different areas the devs know you'll be likely to uncover first, and that's a beautiful game design technique to make sure you have proper firepower to survive the situations you encounter. The guns feel chunky and enemies collapse as you'd expect. It's nothing revolutionary in the market of gunplay, but it's pretty nice for what it is. An aspect of the game you'd never expect until you experience it is the dizzying shoot-'em-up style of gameplay that cyberspace offers. A couple special terminals can be found that will grant you direct access to hack into the station's security. It's a super creative gamified way of hacking. You get a visual representation of Shodan bending the walls of cyberspace to try to choke you out. It's a nice little breather from the tense corridors. The enemy AI is really the only critique I can give. Too often an enemy, especially the basic mutant, just kind of accepts your bullets and does nothing to evade, making ranged combat with them a pretty sad encounter. That said though, there really is no experience like this today of late 90s to early 2000s era of games, especially this genre. I think it boils down to the player's encouragement to use their imagination to fill in certain gaps that makes it feel like you're the one in the game. Back then, this was a product of technical limitations. The devs did everything they could to paint the world and left you to fill in the rest. Now it seems more often than not we can expect half-baked games due to corporate greed killing precious time for polish to meet deadlines, a perfectly fitting theme for our cyberpunk adventure into Night Dive's remake here. Thankfully, it seems Night Dive is being given tons of time to get their vision out, with several demos and release dates blown past and trade for more polish. It really is admirable to see old games get this kind of unadulterated love and time put into them. Even with me never playing the old System Shock or even being aware of the franchise until a year or two ago, I'm super excited for this game's release and I hope you guys are too. Here's to hoping that it actually comes out next month. Stay safe, guys.
What is a man? Is it defined by things like morphology or longevity? If form alters content, that is, if the shape of the container fundamentally influences what it contains, what will it mean to society if a man no longer resembles a man? If those things which have always driven us, birth, aging, and death, are altered or eliminated, will it make us into something new? If a man need not fear death, will that make us more human than our ancestors or less? These questions will be addressed, I believe, by modern science within the upcoming decade. But is the world ready for the answers?